Hello and welcome to Radiant Freedom Digital Marketing. This is the recording of Lesson 6, Part 1, How to Do SEO Keyword Research, from our TGI SEO Fridays webinar series with Odin Xavier of the Canadian marketing team, and was recorded on Friday, July the 13th. Once again, I'll include links in the description below to Odin's channel and website, and I highly recommend you check it out.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another one of our TGI SEO Fridays. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I have been working with Jason from Radiant Freedom and on these TGI SEO Fridays, and I have to tell you, I am loving the process. It is, go back, watch the previous videos, and get the information that he's sending and giving to you, realize that you need help, and then hire the guy to help you out. I mean, I have learned so much about SEO and how I can apply it to my business that these are invaluable episodes. Come on to all the future episodes that we're going to be having and learn about SEO for your business. And better yet, when you get to the point where you don't need to do it yourself, remember that Jason's the guy to help you out with that. Jason, thanks for being here. Thanks once again for showing us how to do these SEO for ourselves, DIY, and at the same time use you, because you're showing us exactly what you're going to be doing to help us with making our businesses #1 on the search engine rankings. That means on Bing, on Yahoo, on Google, and all the other search engines. And you do a whole bunch of other stuff. But thanks for being here, and take it away.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to once again be here and presenting. So this is Lesson 6, Part 1. And we'll be now delving into how to do your SEO keyword research. And for part 1 of this lesson, what we'll be covering is a review of your definitions. So review of what keywords are, seed keywords, long tail keywords, and negative keywords. And then we'll delve into ways to create your list of seed keywords. So starting with the definitions. So the first one, a review of what keywords is. These are the words or search terms a person uses in a search engine to find something, such as some bit of information or a solution or problem they're having. Now we'll be introducing a few new definitions of things we'll be covering, starting in Lesson 6. And the first is seed keywords. Now these are basic keywords being used in a keyword research tool to essentially seed the list so that with relevant base keywords or topics. And the keywords tool will then use these seed keywords to make them grow into a list of other longer keywords and phrases based off of these seed keywords. This leads us into another one, which is called Longtail Keywords. And this refers to keywords made of longer phrases, usually 4 or more words. And these keywords tend to have smaller search volume, but also much lower competition for a spot in the top 10 places or page 1. And finally, we have negative keywords. Now, keywords that a keyword generator tool may think are relevant, but which are in reality not at all relevant and which will actually cause you to rank for searches that are totally irrelevant, is what negative keywords are. And they often come from similar words that have a different meaning or words where it has multiple meanings. For example, if you were a company that installs beer tap systems and one of your seed keywords included the word tap, you may start also getting other search terms like kitchen tap being recommended for you to use as well, even though these are totally different products and industries. In this case, the word kitchen would be a negative keyword, and a word like plumbing may also come up as another negative keyword. So with these, what you want to do is remove anything that contains them, from your consideration. And the main reason why issue with this is as you're doing your research, this just clutters up the list, which you'll learn about that as we progress through our later lessons. So these are the examples of your negative keywords here that I was just talking about. So now let's move on to ways to create your list of seed keywords. So as you're building your keywords out, also start building out a list of possible negative keywords you might want to keep an eye on. as well as keep adding to this list anytime that anything new comes up at any point during the process. So you don't want to be too liberal with this, though, as you run the risk of eliminating good keywords needlessly. But you do want to keep a list of potential negative keywords so that you may want to remove, so that otherwise you don't, to avoid cluttering up your list with irrelevant junk, which could cause you to miss something important or among the mess. So now let's get on with the first step. There's really four main steps that we'll be going over here. So the first step is start with taking a look at what are your products and services. What you want to do is list them all. And if you have a lot of them, you may want to narrow it down to some main categories, or ones that you want to focus on it, or your most profitable or most popular. Your keywords will need to be based off of these, which is what you sell, so that, because the idea here is you're wanting to connect your main searches that you're ranking for with things that people are going to be looking for to potentially buy from you. So if you're one caveat I will mention of this is if your website is an information or news-based website, then this step may be tricky for you, a little bit more so than a company that's a product or service-based company. But you will still have certain topics that you cover. So you might, and these will be your products. So you might be a site that covers a lot of business news and political news, in which case those would be your seeds that you start with, and what you'd list as your products. So once you have this list in place, what you'd want to do is set it aside, and for later use, keep it in mind, as we'll be using these again in the next steps. So the second step is, what are your current market trends? So this is where doing a little bit more in-depth research comes in. So you need to take a look at what the current trends are. So what news or information are people seeking most right now? Or what products and services are most in demand in your area of operations? So these trends will heavily influence what people are searching for, and therefore what topics you need to focus on to get their attention. While researching trends, you will also need to include researching what your competition is doing, as this is a major part of these trends, and the most successful companies will be adapting their strategies to respond to the most important trends in your industry. So this will also help you identify which of your competitors are actively keeping up to date on the current trends and adapting to them, and which competitors are not. So the main thing here is to make sure that you know what your competition is, who your competitors are, what they're doing, what they're not doing, as well as who's actively responding to the trends, who's lagging behind, and therefore which are the ones that you really are the competitors that you really need to watch out for. As well as also keep in mind which of your active competitors, which ones are trends are they responding to, and which ones are they ignoring. And look at, are they ignoring a relevant trend, or are they ignoring a trend because they consider it irrelevant? As well as, are they handling trends that that appear to be irrelevant to your industry, or as well. So these are all different areas where you can come up with opportunities that you could exploit potentially. If there's, let's say, a new trend coming up in your industry and your competitors aren't paying attention to it, even your active ones, then you may be able to swoop in and grab up some market share from this. So as you're continuing through this, what you want to do is start writing down a list of 5 to 10 of the biggest trends that you're seeing right now. Write down a list of your top 3 to 5 biggest competitors, and see if you have any relevant trends that your competitors are not responding to but should be, as those are opportunities for you to gain a foothold in the market. Now, one of the things you want to do is make sure you focus on longer lasting trends and be able to recognize the difference between a trend and a fad, because fads are something that won't last and can leave you going in the wrong direction in a hurry when it fades away. So on the third step, what you want to do is anticipate what terms active buyers would likely use. So you want your keyword plan to focus on attracting the attention of active buyers, those who are looking for what you're offering right now or in the near future. They are the ones most likely to buy from whomever they find, so find out how you can make this be you. So these terms should be focused on a problem that people in your that you can help them solve. Again, write them down, and you'll be using this later on in your keyword research. So these are actually the third steps. The fourth step is essentially something that all industries need to do. They all have certain regular cycles. So regardless of what type of business you're in, you'll need to repeat your keyword research periodically to refresh their targets and make sure that it's based on current trends, news, information-based. News and information-based sites will need to repeat this research much more frequently than, say, a product or service-based website would. Now, this is mainly because, of course, the news cycle will shift with trends quite frequently as different events and stuff like that are going on that are attracting people's attention. Whereas if you're, selling a product or a service, generally that's going to be relevant for quite some time. Again, unless you get yourself caught up in a fad, which is here, today and gone 3 months from now, like the those old, My Pet Rocks thing that became a fad in around the, the 1990s. So there's, a lot of people buying that for a few months and then it just died. So if you're running say a product or service-based business, you might need to redo your keyword research, say once a year to, that should be more than enough to stay current. Well, if you're running a news-based website, you might need to be repeating that research, every 3 months or even more frequently, depending on the type of news cycle that you're dealing with, so that you stay up to date on, shifts in the news cycle. And also keep in mind that a major market shift could also affect, and shift behavior. So also keep an eye out for, on current events, as a revolutionary new invention or a major disaster can shift buyer behavior in a hurry. So you might, if something like that happens, you might need to redo your keyword and market research early to make sure that you're responding to this sudden shift, as demands can suddenly change overnight. If a new product comes out that makes what you're selling obsolete, or natural disasters just come up where a lot of people are going to be needing to say buy say first aid kits, for example, because a major disaster hit, and now people are suddenly all running after the fact to get prepared for the next one. So you need to be dynamic in your keyword strategy and ready to respond, but you don't need to be necessarily wasting your time researching it all the time, just when you need to. So there are also things you need to keep in mind as well, which is your industry. So some industries might be more sensitive to changes in consumer behavior than others. So for example, technology-based products, you might need to reevaluate things more frequently than if you're selling, say, bread, which is a product that has been a staple of the human diet for thousands of years. Heck, even the ancient Sumerians ate some form of bread. So that's the end of lesson 6, part 1. So if you're looking to get in touch, then my email address is here on the screen, jasonross@radiantfreedom.com. You can also visit my website to find out more about how we can help you out at www.radiantfreedom.com, as well as you can catch the replays Odin was mentioning at the beginning of the presentation for the earlier episodes on a YouTube channel at radiantfreedom.com/C. It's at youtube.com/C/radiantfreedom. And I also have Odin's YouTube channel up on the screen as well. Any of these things other than Odin's YouTube channel, as well as my website, will all be linked to in the description down below when it comes up on YouTube. And
thank you very much. Very, very much, Jason. Awesome information, as always. Look forward to seeing you on our live events. And let me tell you a bit about our live events. They happen every second Friday. And what you do is you come on. We have about a 20 to 30-minute session. And then what we do is we have live question and answers and how to do it. And all of that is live on the spot. It's not recorded. So if you miss out, you really, truly are missing out. Come on down, and we'll talk to you next time. Okay, take care. Thanks. Thanks so much, Jason.
Once again, thank you for watching our webinar replay. If you found it helpful, make sure you hit the like button to let us know. If you have any questions or feedback on our webinar, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And if you're not subscribed, be sure and subscribe to our channel to get updates of more awesome content coming up. I also recommend you check out Odin's channel, link in the description down below. And the schedule to our upcoming webinars is also in the description down below, along with the link where you can sign up to attend live. And I highly recommend you get on them live, as you'll have the chance to ask questions and get them answered live on the webinar, content that you won't get on these replays. Now remember, you're awesome, so shine your awesomeness for the world to see. This has been Jason from Radiant Freedom. Bye for now.